Hey everyone, you need to check out Agent CRM. It is the platform that we really wish we had before.
Oh, yeah. It has everything you need, and their team helps you get set up.
Check out Agent CRM in our description and enjoy the show.
Oh, yeah.
What up, folks?
What
How's
up?
everybody doing out there? We're doing pretty good.
We're hot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hot.
Yes, we are. So we got something special for you today. If you don't know Mike Oppenheimer, you should. Mike is a host of a podcast called Coffin Talk, as well as a writer and a philosopher and numerous jacks of all trades. You got to love it. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing really well. It's really cool to be on the show. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. So first question I got to ask. Reading your profile, I see that you have been to over 30 countries and you did a little, lived in Thailand for a while. What was that like living in Thailand?
Yeah, so living in Thailand I was an ESL teacher for a long time. And one of the subjects they teach you when you're learning how to teach English as a second language is cross-cultural communication. And the whole idea is like culture shock. So when you're a teacher and you're living in America, you're like, culture shock. Like, you don't really care. I moved to Thailand and I lived there on and off for about 2 years, 3 months to maybe 6 months at a time. And the culture shock was like unbelievable. It's just like a totally different place. And so living there was, it wasn't the best experience for me, but it was definitely like eye-opening. And now like anything that happens in this country, I kind of look at it a little differently. It's just kind of like, oh, that's our country's problem. That's our country's thing. So it did kind of give me like a bounce in philosophy. Like it gave me kind of a different way to see like just how much like any argument in America about America is 100% cultural. It's not really like a human argument.
Right.
True.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. Great way to bring that up. I've always said there's always his side, her side, and the truth. That's kind of the same thing.
I like that.
Yet at the same time, what's interesting about America being a melting pot is that you can walk out your front door and you've got a whole bunch of different cultures around you, but it all works. Most of the craziness is what's online.
Yeah.
It's not really the people in the street.
God, yeah.
It's what they want to create of it. So anyways, I just
totally agree.
I like it.
Yeah,
Right.
I absolutely agree.
So right now you're in Phoenix, and with you going from Thailand and seeing 30 countries, Phoenix is definitely a different type of culture. I've been to Phoenix a bunch of times. I love it there. How would you say you were able to take all your travels and sit there and go, okay, I'm in Phoenix. This is where I want to be. This is it. This is boom, done.
Well, okay. So, I mean, the reason I moved here would definitely not be anything you mentioned, which is just that my parents live here. They moved here and, they're getting up. So I figured like, why not move, be close to them? And so that was the original reason I came. But actually, it's funny because I never thought of it the way you just asked it. But now that I think about it, Phoenix is like the least representative of any other place in the world. It's just like, it looks like shopping malls. I mean, you've been here, but like you go inside one of these shopping malls and then all of a sudden you're in like a 5-star restaurant. And like, it's so weird how it works here. So it is kind of, it's kind of surreal, but yeah, living here is the easiest place in America to live. That's what I would tell people is it doesn't matter if you're like right wing, left wing, no wing. You can be like, we have like punk rock kids downtown. We got like all sorts of representations. Gen Z is big here, but so are millennials and so are boomers. So it's just kind of like a crazy, I don't know if melting pot's the word I would use, but no one seems to care. Everyone just kind of seems to be like, it's too hot to argue. Let's just live in Phoenix.
I get you.
Yeah. I got to jump in.
Yeah, do it.
Why did Coffin talk? Let's
yeah.
What do we need to know, right?
Sorry, we kind of I go off on a tangent.
So I mean, I do a lot of things, but one of my favorites is this podcast I started about a year and a half ago called Coffin Talk. I used to do hospice volunteering, so I would go into these hospice wards, and I would like end up becoming friends with these people as they were getting near the end. And they always said, I wish, not always, because some of them did, but a lot of them would say, I wish I'd talked about death more. I wish I'd like thought about it more growing up and living. So I decided to have a podcast where I have people talk about what they think is going to happen when they die, because I think getting that conversation is just a good idea.
Actually, it is. I worked in EMS for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
So
you get it more than I do.
Yeah. How did you become a part of Substack, and what possessed you to become a part of Substack?
So actually, I was listening to a podcast and they were interviewing this journalist who I used to like read his stuff in Rolling Stone in the 90s, like when I was a teenager. And his name's Matt Taibbi. You might have heard of him. He's sort of famous, but he's it was like one of those things where he would write like long pieces for Rolling Stone, and it wasn't about like bands. It was just about like whatever, you know, and he was cool though. So I heard him on this podcast and he's like, he talks like the three of us. So like a real down to earth guy. And he was talking about how he'd been kicked out of Rolling Stone because he's like too right wing now. And he's like, I haven't changed at all. I've been like a normal, reasonable guy my whole life. And now I'm getting called like this. So he's like, screw it. I'm moving to the site called Substack, which is for writers who just want to write. Like there's no like Facebook police, no Twitter police. It's none of that crap. So I was already writing for like years and years and years with like my own subscription base, but it wasn't on a site. It was just like through emails and stuff. So I ported everything over to Substack and I love it. And I moved my weekly essay, which is called the Casual Casuist, which is a philosophy essay. It's real short and anyone who wants to sign up can. They're free. And and I got into the top 25 and I'm really happy.
That's awesome. Good for you. That is so cool.
So what's your process to write then? Like, there's so many, I've talked to a lot of authors and they all have different ways they do it. So
I mean, I write novels and I write these essays. So the essay process is really similar to like, kind of like the show South Park, which is they come out every week. So I start it the day after it comes out and I write, edit, and then I release it every Sunday. So I'm always feeling like a little bit of pressure, but I kind of like that. I mean, you guys are doing a similar thing here. Like you're recording tons of these interviews, you know, you're doing them on whatever schedule. So you know what it's like and it keeps your head in the game and it's exciting. And so that's the process for that. And then for novels, I developed a process after my second novel, which is I just write one chapter every week, no matter what. It's just like a rule. And and then editing, that's a whole different story. I hate editing. So does every writer, but you do it.
So do we when we got to edit our shows.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. You sit there, you get them done, and we're right there.
Some are harder than others.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I always like to ask 3 questions, and it depends on you and how you want to answer them. All right. So they'll come in succession. Whatever comes to mind, boom, let it go. What do you think you do well?
Communicate.
Nice. What do you need work on?
Patience.
Patience, boy, don't we all? And what would you do differently?
Nothing.
Nothing. I like that.
Good.
Second one today.
Second one today.
I like it. I like it. No regrets, right? No regrets.
No. I've had some messed up stuff happen, but it all led me to here, and I'm happy.
That's cool.
What's something you haven't done yet that you're really dying to do?
Learn how to fly a plane. My main goal in life that's left is I want to fly alone in a plane someday. I want to be alone above Earth looking down. I just,
So there's no problem just taking off. It's just landing that could be the issue.
Yeah. And I mean, I probably, it's weird because I have so many dreams about flying and they're never like I'm flying. It's just like I'm literally just stuck up in a plane. So I just know that if I dream about something enough, it means I probably want to do it.
Yeah. That's totally cool. Now, in your profile, I like to refer back to folks' profile because
it's cool. Man.
You're an indexer.
Yeah.
What is that? I've never heard of it. Have you ever heard of that? No. So I got to know, what is that?
Yeah. So, well, first of all, I'd never heard of it either when somebody actually offered me a chance to even interview for it. So I used to be, like I said, I was a teacher for about 10 years. My life has been pretty compartmentalized. I worked in restaurants for 10 years. I taught for 10 years. And then I was moving to Phoenix and there's no market for ESL, English as a second language here, unless you're teaching in regular public schools. And I was always teaching adults in a private setting, which is a way different ball game. Like the rules are different. It's just fun. Like you're teaching adults. So so anyway, since there's no market for that, I was like kind of freaking out about what job to do. And so one of my dad's friends' wives, I'm sorry if you hear our dogs barking. One of our dad's friends' wives worked for a book indexing company. And she said, do you want to be a book indexer? And I was like, I don't even know what that is. So she explained it to me. And, when you're in high school or college or whatever it is, and you're doing like a term paper, you go to the back of one of those big books and there's an index and it's alphabetized and it tells you where to find things in the book. So like an autobiography of or a biography of John F. Kennedy. You know, you'd look up, it'd be like Vietnam War, Marilyn Monroe, like stuff like that. So I write those. I get paid to go through books and read them really quickly and create an index, and then I send it to a publisher. They accept or reject it or ask for changes, and then but I work for a company that does a lot of this for me.
Wow.
But I write the actual index. Yeah,
That's actually kind of cool. That's kind of interesting. A little different.
So do you find that a lot of your writings, being from visiting 30 countries, how much you draw from the different cultures, or are you just doing more like what it comes to mind?
a little bit of both, but I would say in my analysis of human nature, it was expanded in a good way by meeting so many people who are supposed to be different but are kind of the same. It's not that all people are the same, not even close. It's more that you'll find a you in Spain, you'll find a you in Portugal. Like there's just like
That's an interesting.
Yeah.
That poor person, let me tell you. I feel bad for them, whoever's a me.
That's an interesting concept, though.
Yeah.
Like, to think that, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
I like that. I like that.
that is really cool.
Now, since you are the jack of all trades, I want to get into your spirituality. For you, has spirituality always kind of been with you, or was it more of a trek, a journey that you went on not realizing you were going on it?
It's definitely always been with me, but I would say the awareness of it being with me wasn't always there. So I vividly remember as a kid not seeing like the local importance of something and only seeing like a greater reason to do or not do something. So at an early age, I remember someone like excluding a black kid from like a game we were playing on the playground. And I didn't know what race was enough, or I didn't know anything that was going on. I just knew it was like deeply wrong. And I remember like sticking to that like gun despite being like therefore with him, like all of a sudden I was an outcast, you know? And I'm not saying this in any self-aggrandizing way, believe me, like it's just that memory is so strong of like I couldn't do the quote unquote wrong thing. And then as I got older, I would do wrong things, but I would feel like guilty in a deeper way, like a spiritual way. And so when I was in like my mid-20s, I just kind of like started to own it. And then I went through a divorce in my mid-30s, and that like sealed the deal. I just kind of was like, all right, screw this. Like I'm not great at this human stuff, but I'm pretty good at like hearing what the thing to do is. So now I just follow that. That's what I call spirituality, is just following what you're actually supposed to do, not what, you know, your brain tells you you want.
Hey, you know what? I got to go a couple countries, one being Ecuador, and something
cool.
happened there that just, I think, changed me as a person. What is a story that you felt going around the world that really changed who you are?
Wow, that's a great question. Well, it's a really good question. Okay, I actually know the weirdest ones. I went to Japan to visit a friend, and I've never been interested in Japanese culture at all. I like sushi, and that's about it. And so I went there, and I was having like a pretty bad time. I wasn't like digging it. And speaking of culture shock, that was like the most I've ever had, because it's not their fault at all, but they don't smile in their culture. Like it's rude to smile. So they go out of their way not to smile. And I like need a smile. Like I think you hate me. I get like paranoid. I got like all sorts of issues if someone doesn't smile back, you know? So I was having a really hard time. And then on my last day, I broke off from my 3 friends, and I just said, look, I just don't want to do more of this like mall stuff. And I went on this like long hike, and I went into this like mountainside, and there were like no houses around. And I all of a sudden was like, wow, this like looks just like home. Like I might as well be in like some weird place in upstate New York or like part of California, you know, like all the bushes and stuff. Then I got bit by a bug, and I'd never seen the bug before, and I don't know what the bug is. And I started having a full on panic attack, because I'm like, I'm in the middle of the woods. My friends don't know where I am. I have no cell phone. If I fall down and pass out, like I'm dead. Like no one's going to find me. And it was the most life-changing experience, because I had to just like tell myself it wasn't a poisonous bug. You have no idea what it did. Just keep walking, go back. And I'll just never forget the sense of accomplishment when I got back to the street and recognized where I was, and I knew I wasn't going to die. That was the most life-changing story for me, because there's something about being in a foreign country with no phone and no anything. And I couldn't speak a word of Japanese. Like I couldn't explain anything to someone.
Yeah,
That is
cool.
actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
What would you tell a young Mike?
Oh my God. Okay, this goes back to patience. I would say it'll come when it comes, but you can't make it come sooner. Like you can't bring the love of your life in when you want it. Like she just appears. Like for me, I was 37. Like that's a long time to wait for the right person, you know? And but yeah.
Nice.
Somebody's got to create a Wives Are Us or something. Girlfriends Are Us.
I think it's in Russia. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yes. Yes. I love it. Great answer. I was like, I'm going to cut this out. And then he answered that. I'm like,
Okay.
that stays in.
Oh my God. That was funny.
Wait, so I think I saw you're in a rock band.
I was, yeah.
I want to hear about that. Because that's
okay.
Cool. I've managed some rock bands, and I know it's in the interesting, way it works and doesn't work. What was it like for you?
Well, first of all, where were you in the early 2000s? Because we needed a manager because we broke up because we did not have a manager. It was fun. We winged it. My friends and I, we graduated from college and all of us had wanted to play music. I'd been playing guitar since I was like 11 and I wrote a bunch of songs. And I have like, my opinion, I have a decent voice. I'm not like, I'm never going to be like elite, but we were good enough that I figured we could make it. And so we started playing gigs out and we actually were pretty good. And we released one album. Our name was Punch Clock. If you go to my website, mikeyop.com, there's links to all this stuff. But it was fun. I hate staying up late. And so that's the main reason I didn't want to play. I wanted to quit for that reason. So that was the only annoying part. It's like you wait forever to go on stage. I mean, I'm sure you remember like with managing and stuff. I mean, it's long nights. And so I actually like being an opening act because you get to go on pretty early and then you sit back at the bar, you have drinks and you watch the other bands. So
yeah. You're kind of a lot like me. Like I love the adventures of things and making memories, I think is the way I'm kind of seeing that your life has been. And then you're also writing about that. So a very similar feeling on that. So what do you think is like 3 things on your bucket list that you absolutely haven't done that you really want to do?
Well, I definitely put the flying the plane one.
Yeah.
That has to be on it.
Add more to it.
Yeah.
Because I see you just look for that.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm about memories. Like one of my favorite memories is I slept out under the stars. My daughter, who was like 6 years old at the time, asked if she could do that with me. And then she woke up next morning. I wake up and she's still there. And I was like, that's a huge memory for me. And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Or I want to go stand on Antarctica, say that I've been on to Antarctica. So where's your adventure still live?
Yeah, there's some for sure. The flying one is one. And then I would say, I've been learning Thai on and off and I never got great at it, but I would like to write a book in Thai someday, which sounds impossible, but I would like to try. So that's definitely another one. And then I think lastly to that, okay, this is a weird one. Because I'm going to sound like I have a drinking problem, but I've always wanted to go a full year without drinking because I've never done that. I've never even come close. And I think it would just be interesting to see because our world is like not a sober world. And I don't, like I said, I like drinking. I like doing like all sorts of things to relax. But my point is I would like to see what it's like to be like a kid again, like to like go a whole year with just like a sober outlook. It sounds really hard. Like, you're talking New Year's, you're talking Thanksgiving, you're talking like every major holiday, like
Christmas, birthday.
Yeah, Christmas. Yeah.
Interesting. That's such an
celebrating your underwater basket weaving achievements all the time.
Hey,
by
man,
the way,
you should see all the ribbons I have.
Yep. And all the cocktails.
And
but anyway, that's a different story.
It's been amazing. This is a good interview.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. I have one more question.
You got one more? All right.
I love to travel as well, and I love all the different countries. And I've been to, I think 7 or 8, maybe 9, somewhere.
Southern
around.
California is not another country. Man.
Yes, it is. But
keep saying that.
What was your favorite country that you went to?
I gotta say Ireland.
I would think you talk so much about Thailand.
No, it's Ireland or Scotland. It's like both.
So where in Ireland?
I went like all over Ireland, but really like the cliff sides. Like it's the most beautiful thing in the world. And you just look out and like it just looks like the end of the world in a way that like Maine doesn't, Portland, like Oregon doesn't. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't get that way here. You're like up on these things. And then I almost said Scotland just because the Scottish people are my favorite people by far.
Oh,
I would retire to Scotland in like a heartbeat if I ever could, because
And they had fun.
yes, that's why I didn't say it's my favorite country for sure. It's like cold, but they're so nice
so
and they're so
pale.
cheaper. You know, they have this huge comic festival every year. They're like all about like you know, you can offend people in Scotland, but you're allowed to. Like, you're just allowed to be funny, and I love that culture. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Oh, that's so good. Hey,
Oh my
thank you
God,
so much
man.
for being on What Up. We had a great time having you on here, and look forward to seeing what else you do, what more books.
Yeah,
I definitely want to get into reading and get onto some of the stuff he's doing online.
But before we forget, it's mikeyop.com. And what else do you got for us that you want to?
yeah, no, that's the best one. MIKEYOPP.com. There's a huge subscribe button, and there's also a Patreon link. And I do podcasts. I write novels. I write nonfiction. I do essays. I make webisodes, music videos, songs. It's all there. So
Nice.
enjoy yourself, and everything's free if you want it. So you know,
Cool.
that's the way.
Right
it is.
on.
All right.
Hey,
Right on.
Mike, from all of us here at What Up with Rob and Chris, hope you have a great day and a better tomorrow, my friend. Thank you.
Awesome.
Have a good one, guys.